Hey guys, how are you? Happy Monday. Happy Veterans Day. Welcome in to another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt. This podcast being brought to you by friends at DraftKings. This is my Veterans Day hat. I do not know who gave this to me. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. It is a camo hat with a little American flag trim. Whoever gave this to me, thank you. So we're wearing this for Veterans Day. I don't know. It's kind of like a hunting hat, but it's the close I can do. So more on the veterans here in just 1 second. But if you guys are listening, you guys obviously can't see what I am wearing here for Veterans Day. But no school today. Let's make this more than just a bank holiday, okay? For all of you who served, for all of you who did something that I did not have the courage to do, which is to go and pick up arms in defense of this country, who went through boot camp, who were deployed overseas, who served the country in places that you weren't welcome. And you were afraid, and I'm sure you were concerned for your safety maybe every single second. Thank you for doing that, because you allowed me to have a broadcasting career where I got to sit around and talk about sports. And that's the chicken job I chose, while you guys went and did real things in the world and saw the world and defended this country. So for that, thank you. And I think all of us owe you a debt that will never be paid and never be repaid for all of the hours and the time away from your family and the time spent practicing, training, drilling, working out, keeping yourself in tip-top shape, both mentally and physically. So it is Veterans Day. It is different than Memorial Day. And I often tell people there needs to be a pretty clear distinction between that, because Memorial Day, we remember those who sacrificed the greatest sacrifice. Veterans Day, well, there's a lot of veterans who are walking around us who do not get the thanks that they deserve. And it, again, should be more than just a bank holiday. So if you are one of those veterans out there, let me say from us here at BettingPros and myself with the Daily Juice, thank you for everything you have done, everything you continue to do in defense of this country. So thank you. Hopefully today will be a good day for you. If you're not having a good day, if you're a veteran who's in trouble, if you're a veteran who needs help, I hope that you will reach out to loved ones, to resources in your community, to get the resources, to get the help, use the resources to help you get the help that you need, because we need people like you around. You are high value. We care about you. We want you here regardless of the demons in your head. We want you around. So please ask for help. DM me. I'll do my best to direct you in the best ways I can do, right? I know people who work at the VA. I don't know a ton of them, but I know a couple of them who work at the VA. Maybe we can get you some help. So happy Veterans Day. For the juice, I don't know. Maybe I should get sick more often, because last night was a 4-1 night for us, up 2.9 units. It recaps the best month, excuse me, the best week I have had. I don't know. It's been a really good start to the month. I know that. We've had one losing day so far here. It's the 10th. I think I missed 5 days, right? So I think I've had 4 winning days and 1 losing day so far here in the month of November. The Steelers come in. The Niners came back to win on that last-second field goal. The Chargers won and they covered. We got that. The Broncos should have beaten the Chiefs. The Chiefs are living with 9 lives. You got to wonder when that coin's going to flip. And if it flips in the playoffs for the Chiefs, that's bad news. They're not going to get the breaks. They're getting crazy breaks and making plays that are not consistent with winning football. How about that? Blocking a last-second field goal, you can't really rely on that all that often, but they got it and they won. Northern Iowa was the worst bet of the day. They got housed. Warriors didn't need the 7.5. They won the game outright. So 4-1 day for us. They're 3-0 in the NFL. NBA bet, we got that right, so that's good. And so we head on here into a Monday. I've got an NFL bet, I've got an NHL bet, and I've got a college basketball bet for us. I might add an NBA play on the BettingPros app. Okay, so if you are following that, bettingpros.com/Matt is the direct URL, or go to the BettingPros app, download it, and search at Sports Talk Matt. Okay, search Sports Talk Matt. You will see the play. If I add an NBA play, which I might today, I got a couple of games I'm watching with line movements and where the line goes. So I may jump in with an NBA play as well. So we could have 4 bets going today. We got 3 on the podcast. 1 may be coming on the Betting Pros app. Again, it's bettingpros.com/Matt for the URL, or download the Betting Pros app, search Sports Talk Matt. and you will see it if I put it up. I'll tell you on the Discord channel as well. If you guys are on there, bettingpros.com/chat, you guys can jump in on that. And hopefully I'll have that for you guys coming up at some point. If the NBA play I like, I'll jump on it here on a Veterans Day. So 4 plays, 4 sports, Veterans Day. If you are off from work, hopefully I'll give you something to watch, bet, and have some fun with. All right. This podcast is being brought to you by DraftKings and the DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily partner of the NFL. As you guys know, play $5, you get $50 instantly in Pick 6 credits when you use the promo code JUICE at sign up when you download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app and use the code JUICE at sign up. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. 18 plus in most jurisdictions, but other age and eligibility restrictions may vary. Valid only in jurisdictions where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including but not limited to New York and California. Void where prohibited. One new Pick 6 customer, a $5 play gets $50 issued as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. For terms, go to pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Okay, let's start with the game tonight. The Dolphins on the road in the NFL in a must-win setting. I mean, look, the Patriots have 3 wins. The Jets have 3 wins. Dolphins are on the road against the LA Rams. Both these teams are desperate for victories. The number opened at 3. It's been bet down to 2.5. Total opened at 48. At 50, it's been bet down to 48.5. Some books are at 49. Little surprised on that. It's a Monday Night Football game with these offenses. These defenses are okay. Surprise numbers coming down, but we're going to play with the same game teaser as we have done for a while. Look, I think Miami will lose the game between 3 and 6 points. I think the LA Rams probably win the game. They probably cover, but Miami's desperate. Since Tua has come back offensively, they've been much, much better scoring-wise. 27 points in both games, both losses at home against Arizona and on the road against Buffalo. Both those games went over. 46.5 and 49.5 went over by 8.5 and by 8. For the Rams, they went over against the Vikings in a 30-20 victory, went over by 3.5 points with 46.5. And Seattle was 48.5. That game went under. They scored 26 points, though, and it fell at 46. From a point spread perspective, Miami is 2-6 ATS on the year, but they're 2-2 on the road. The Rams are 3-5 overall ATS, but they've covered their last 2 games in 2-2 at home, covered against the Vikings and covered against Seattle. They were dogs at home against the Vikings. They were road favorites against Seattle. Here they are as a home favorite. The Rams are up against Miami. I'm not going to break tradition. I'm going to do what I did yesterday. We hit it with the Steelers. We're doing it here. Primetime's been pretty good with doing this. We are going to tease the Dolphins up to 8.5 and pull the total down to 42.5 and play over. Just like the game involving the Steelers, I'm not really sure how this loses. Steelers won the game outright. Dolphins could win the game outright. You may not need to tease this, but I just like doing teasers. So this is fun. I enjoy doing this. People say these are stupid plays, but if they cash, who cares? And they cashed yesterday, went 3-0, 2-0 on teasers, 3-0 overall. If it wins, who cares if it's stupid or a bad play? Dolphins plus 8.5, teased with an over 42.5 at minus 120 for 1.2 units. To college basketball we go, and Iowa State is taking on Kansas City. Here's a fun little fact. Iowa State recruits against Kansas City at times. They pull kids from Kansas City. So does Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri, Iowa State, Iowa. KC's a big recruiting hotbed. Kansas City is in Kansas City, okay? TJ Otzelberger, a guy you guys know, I have bet games involving TJ a lot when he was in the Summit League, when he was in the Big 12, when he was in the Mountain West Conference, now in the Big 12. The Roos are not horrible. The Roos might actually win the conference, the Summit League, and the Roos might be in the NCAA tournament. This, on paper, is a lopsided blowout. It's 28 points. That's the line, 27.5 or 28. Iowa State should kill them. I don't know. They were 16-16 last year. They were the 2 seed in the Summit League tournament last year. They got upset in the quarterfinals of the conference tournament, but they're bringing back 2 really good players. They've got a guy who he is the newcomer, the first team all-conference selection, Jamar Brown. He is back, last year's Summit League newcomer. He's a guy who played at JUCO and then transitioned over. And Jason Petty is the Summit League Freshman of the Year last year. So he's taken a step forward. He scored 33 points over the last 2 games. So he's to take a step forward. But here's the problem for the Roos. They have no size. Like the average player is 6'5". They have one player who will start here that will be 6'8". They only have one guy over 6'9" on the entire roster. Iowa State's got 6'9" players. They got a 6'11" center. They got bulk. They got size. They got a 6'9" wingman that can shoot. Iowa State did a lot of work in their first game against Mississippi Valley State, shooting about 60% inside the arc. They got to the foul line a ton, 22 of 29 from the foul line. They didn't shoot a ton from behind the arc. They didn't hit a ton from behind the arc either. But I think that changes here tonight. I don't know how many points the Roos will score. So I lean over, but I'm concerned about the Roos not scoring enough against Iowa State if they lock down defensively. And then it's like a 90-60 type win. So the game goes over because it's, the total is pretty low in this game. So I'm going to kind of throw it out here and say, okay, I'm not going to worry about the total because I don't know how many points the Roos might score 60. Okay. But I think Iowa State will score 85 or more here in this game. They scored 83 in their first game and they didn't hit threes. I think they'll hit threes and I think they'll score. So I think the safer bet is to go to in DraftKings lets you do this. You can go and pick your team total. So you can bet at plus money if you want. You can bet over 185.5 if you want. Or you can go and bet a little juicy 82.5. I'm going to bet the juice because you only pay the juice when you lose. Iowa State over team total 82.5 at minus 140 for 1.4 units. For those of you who have access to DraftKings, DraftKings has this bet available. I don't mind playing this all the way up to 84.5. That would be the top for me is 84.5. But 82.5, 83.5, 84.5, I don't mind. I think Iowa State scores 85 points here tonight up against Kansas City. Iowa State team total over 82.5 for 1.4 units. And finally, we go to hockey, where the Dallas Stars, a team that I love, the team that I think will win the Stanley Cup, off to a rough start. 8-5 start for Dallas. They're on the road at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 6-8-2. They haven't been great, but they're 3-3 at home. They have fixed their goaltending situation. Either goaltender. Don't ask me to say the other kid, the Kovac name. I can't say it. But the Blomqvist kid, they both have goals against averages are about 3. Ottinger's expected in net, and if it's not Ottinger, Casey DeSmith's been better than Ottinger. So any goaltender tandem here, I don't mind it. The total is 6.5 in this game, juiced slightly to the under at minus 115. You look at the last 5 games for Dallas, they have lost 3 of 5, but only one of those games has gone over 6.5, and that was a 6-4 loss to Florida. 4-1 loss in their last game against Winnipeg, who is red hot at 14-1 straight up on the year, which is nuts. The Chicago, it's like Winnipeg in Cleveland, which is more stunning at the start that they've had to the seasons they've had. I mean, Cleveland's 11-0, Winnipeg is 14-1. Chicago, they won 3-1. They lost to Florida 4-2, lost to Florida 6-4. They beat Chicago 4-2. On the flip side, the Penguins coming off of a 3-game road trip, a 4-3 shootout, that game went over, but 5-1 loss to Carolina and a 4-2 loss to Washington. The 2 previous home games were a 3-1 and 2-1 win over Anaheim and Montreal. I just don't think these teams are scoring. If you want to play a first period under, the Dallas Stars are the least likely team to have a first period over in the NHL so far this season, which is crazy. Just 4 times in 13 games, the Dallas Stars have seen 2 or more goals be scored in the first period. They're also the last team to have a goal in the first 10 minutes given up this season. Again, just 4 in 13. So if you want to ladder something, if you're looking for some extra action here, you could do no goal in the first 10 minutes. That is, hold on, let me tell you what that is. No goal in the first 10 minutes is plus 120, if you want to bet that for the Stars and the Penguins. If you want to bet the first period under in the game, you can do that, and that is a plus 105 play for under 1.5 first period, or you can play under 6.5 for the game, which is what I've played officially at minus 115. Again, I don't care about the goaltenders. I just don't think either team is really playing all that well offensively, and defensively, they're really focusing heavily on this. I'm going to play under 6.5. It's crazy with the Pittsburgh Penguins going under. But just right now, both Dallas and Pittsburgh, they're under teams. The goaltending has been fixed for the Penguins, and Dallas has been a team right now that offensively they are struggling. They are not doing a great job right now on offense. I'll take a shot under 6.5 at -115. I don't mind the first period under, and I don't mind a no goal in the first 10 minutes as well if you're looking for something extra. Speaking of extra, watch the BettingPros app. I will alert you guys in the Discord channel. If I play something in the NBA, I might. More to come on that a little bit later on. My name is Matt Perrault. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Excuse me. This podcast, the Daily Juice Podcast, every single morning, presented by DraftKings.